People sometimes ask, how do I create a written value proposition that succinctly summarises the value of my idea on paper so I can test it with customers and see how attractive it is before we go to the more time consuming and expensive process of prototyping something or designing something and developing it? And the answer is a value proposition template, which is a thinking framework for creating such a written concept on paper, and it always consists of the same core elements. The first one of those is a definition of the target. By segmenting the target into more specific focused people based on their attitudes or based on their beliefs or based on their behaviour, their location, their gender or their age, we can start to narrow down who it is we're talking about. And that's the essential first step of creating a value proposition. If we're in business to business, there may be multiple people in that value chain that we need to consider. The next part of any good value proposition is a definition of what problem we intend to solve, which we're going to call the insight. The insight relates directly to the target. It will be the target's biggest unmet need. Now, they will have many problems and unmet needs, but we are focused on the one that is most significant to them because in solving that tension, the value of our proposition is escalated. The next thing, our third element, is to understand what alternatives already exist in the market. Who directly or indirectly already delivers against that problem, and why do they fail to adequately solve it? Because of course, if the alternatives are solving the problem perfectly well already, then the size of the opportunity is limited for us. The fourth aspect of our value proposition will then be our promise, what we call the benefit. And we don't really get to control the benefit because the benefit is a function of the insight. If the customer says to us, "Do you know what my biggest problem is? This is my biggest problem," then the benefit we offer can't be anything else. It has to be a commitment to solve that problem. We can't have multiple benefits either. We only have to have one benefit to solve the big unmet need of the customer, the insight. But of course the customer will then say, well, hang on a minute, I don't believe that you can promise that. I don't believe that you can deliver that. I don't believe you can make my biggest problem go away. Give me a reason to believe that you can. So the fifth element of a good value proposition is what we call the reason to believe. The proof that we can make the benefit come to life and deliver the promise to solve the insight, despite the fact that all those alternatives have previously failed to do so in the past. Then ultimately, good value propositions end on a point of superiority. Some people call it a discriminator, a differentiator, or a USP, a unique selling point. Ultimately, what we want to be able to say is, in this value proposition that we're offering you, we can deliver the benefit to a high degree of uniqueness and superiority over anything else that exists in the market. Hence, you should come to us. Now, when these elements are presented to the customer in the form of a written concept, they make the story believable and compelling. And over many years, that format has been proven to test well and to lead to successful innovation.